Oh, what's up guys? Happy Thursday and welcome to this week's Murfs World. My name is Murf, for anybody who doesn't already know, and this is my channel. Every week I'm here to tell you what's good on Netflix, Amazon and Sky, and also to tell you what ain't so good, so not to waste your time watching. It's been a brilliant week for the film industry. The Oscars were on Sunday just gone, and I'd like to say a big congratulations to all the winners, especially Joaquin Phoenix, who well-deserved Oscar for my favourite film of last year, The Joker. I cannot wait to review this. Thank you everybody for your comments last week, especially Mo. I hope you did enjoy The Stranger, if you did watch it in the end. Hope it didn't put you off too much. It wasn't too bad. Some people really liked it. Mr. Gooby Dog, thank you very much for your comment. I'm glad you did enjoy The Stranger. And also, I would like to say a happy birthday to the real Mr. Gooby Dog. And thank you also, Nick, for your great comment as always. And I appreciate all your support on the channel, guys. Keep coming back, keep leaving comments. It helps a lot. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Also, leave a little like if you've enjoyed the content. If you're watching this through Facebook, as I know a lot of you are, don't forget to log into YouTube and then scroll to the bottom where you can leave a comment, and also the little like icon is just under the video there, you can see. Considering it was Oscar week, there has been a bit of a drought on the old film and TV series front, but don't fear, I have gone through a lot for you to tell you what's good and what's bad this week. So without further ado, let's see what I've been watching this week. The Righteous Gemstones on Sky Comedy. Sky Comedy is a new channel on Sky. I don't know if you've been watching it. I've got some really good things, some great HBO comedies, including this one. This is a new comedy and it's actually created by Danny McBride. Now, if you don't know who Danny McBride is, he is the star of Eastbound and Down and also the excellent Vice Principals comedy, which was about a couple of years ago now, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. It's full of familiar faces from the comedy scene. The series follows a famous yet dysfunctional family of televangelists. What's it called? Televangelists. I can never say the word. Basically, some kind of super Christian family that's really famous, and they are unbelievably wealthy. It's kind of a joke, you know, it's kind of a piss take of the fact that, you know, all these wealthy people high up in certain religion literally driving past stuff and people don't really care, you know, and they live in these massive mansions, basically just treating it as a massive business. It is a hilarious comedy. It won't be for everyone. Comedy is very subjective, but if you do like Danny McBride, then you will really enjoy this. Episode 1, for example, has the main character being hiddenly filmed, sort of doing drugs with prostitutes, things like that. Yet he's one of the, you know, the worst people about preaching to everyone. So check that one out. I think it's really funny. I'd love to know what you guys think and let me know in the comments below. Horse Girl on Netflix. Now, if you saw the title Horse Girl and you feel, is this like Animal Farm all over again? You're a sick puppy, so go get help. The film follows a young lady who has some kind of mental illness, and it starts to sort of get worse and worse as the film progresses. The reason it's called Horse Girl is at the beginning you find out as a little girl she's sort of got a horse, and there's this pet horse she had when she was a child, and it's kind of really important to her. It kind of centers around her world in a weird way. This film tried to be very artistic. Think something like Melancholia or something like Donnie Darko, where it's, you know, a little bit weird, a little bit offbeat. Could have been a classic. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It actually turned out to be a film that tried to do very classy shots, things like that, but on a budget. It didn't feel like anything was quite right in this movie. And I ended up getting to a point of thinking, what's really going on here? You know, there was aliens in it, all these things. You know, is it in a head? Is it not in a head? But it just got to a point where I thought, this is actually not very good. Towards the end of this movie, they do some really trippy sort of things, and I'm not gonna lie, I end up laughing. It was so funny. I would recommend watching it just for that bit because it's so kind of bad, it's kind of good. They tried to make a cult film, but I think they failed miserably, and what they've just made is absolute tosh. So if you want to see a naked girl who's crazy and obsessed with a horse, this film is for you. I definitely wouldn't recommend this one for the average moviegoer, but if you're really into artistic films, let me put it this way. The best sort of artistic film for you is, you know, sort of a fine blue cheese. This is a Baby Bell.
Did someone say cheese? Oh, I love a stinky bishop's finger. Oh, makes me rough inside though.
So don't check that out. Horse Girl on Netflix. Absolutely Danny Dyer. The Pharmacist on Netflix. This is a true life crime drama set in America. It's a documentary, 4 parts, around an hour long each. And it's about a gentleman called Dan Snyder, who's a small town pharmacist in Louisiana, whose son is tragically murdered whilst buying drugs. So his son had a really good life, and then he sort of got hooked on crack, you know, sort of started doing it at parties, then got addicted, and then he got murdered in sort of a poorer part of town. The police didn't seem to care that much about Dan's murder. They just thought he's another crackhead dead. Dan didn't want his son, you know, just to die and the murderer to be loose, so he took it upon himself to get justice. It's a brilliant documentary, and the guy, Dan, if you're watching this, you're an absolute inspiration, a real Great guy, a real character, a real inspiration. If other people were as good as you, the world would not be in the state it is today. Now, it isn't just about Dan's son's murder, it leads to other things, and it shows the corruption in America and their system due to the lack of NHS, really, their private medical care, and how these big pharmaceutical companies run the country and can basically do whatever they want. They can sit there in court and lie and say, this drug isn't addictive, this isn't addictive, when they fully well know that they've created a drug, for example, in this Oxycontin, which is as powerful as heroin and as addictive as heroin, but on the labeling they put, oh, it's not as addictive. You know, and they wonder why these people, once they start cutting them off from Oxycontin, then they go get heroin and stuff. It's absolutely disgusting. It reveals a lot of what goes on and it shows it at every level. The characters in this documentary are fascinating, and you see them from all different levels. You know, people who sort of sell the drugs sort of legally, the doctors, the victims. It's a brilliant documentary. It's really worth a watch. I don't want to go on too much about this and give too much away. All I will say is definitely watch this one. It's really good. So check that one out and I hope you enjoy it. That's all we have time for this week. Next week, there's some big releases coming out finally, because it feels like we've had a little drought at the moment. It's a bit hit and miss what's been coming out. So next week, we've got some great releases. I can't wait to review them for you. Don't forget to tell your friends and make sure you're subscribed. And if you're watching this for the first time, make sure you're logged in and subscribed. Hit the like button and leave a comment there right at the bottom. So scroll right down and leave a comment depending on what device you're on. And I hope you have an absolutely lovely week. I'm sure I will. So see you guys next Thursday.